Hi guys, welcome to our GoldRush podcast. This is our very first episode. We're actually naming our podcast GoldRush. Today for our very first episode, guys, essentially we're going to dive deep into what GoldRush is all about right now, and then we're going to give you guys as much value as possible that we can that's going to help you, take to your business and help you apply these things in your business so you can grow as well. So to kind of kick things off, GoldRush, the idea came from us, starting a business, going through business, dealing with trials and tribulations and struggles, and then reaching a specific amount of success and wanting to give back to the community, wanting to give back to the people that start their own businesses and their own brands, or they have their own dream and their own vision. The world is such a big place, and there's so many different things to do. But the people that decide to fight for a dream and fight for passion, they have a different mindset, and we want to help those people out specifically. It doesn't really matter the background. If you have a dream that you want to accomplish in athletics, in music, and really any industry. If you have a business in any industry, we want to help. So pay attention to our podcast, and please watch our podcast, because we're going to have many different guests on our show as well. That's really going to try to deliver you guys as much value from our hearts.
Beautiful. So GoldRush has been a project that we've been very excited about at GoldRush. I really see it being very helpful to a lot of people that might be starting out or might be well along the way. In our rise in GoldRush, I know that there's definitely been some people that we've watched that we've drawn some inspiration from and motivation as well.
For sure.
So now to kick things off, introducing myself, I'm actually a vice president at GoldRush branding firm. I've been more or less there since the beginning, if that's fair to say. Now, Randy, you're actually the founder and president of GoldRush.
Yes, sir.
So would you like to explain to everyone what GoldRush is and a little bit of how it got started? We'll go more in depth.
I'd love to, yeah, for sure. I'll start off with what GoldRush truly is. GoldRush, my company that I started, is a branding firm. We came to grow into a branding firm. But essentially what we do is we work with businesses, brands, people, anybody that has a vision. We come in, we help them cultivate their true brand's message, because everything starts with a message in this world. We're watching TV, whether if you're seeing a billboard, listening to the radio, seeing a picture, seeing text. It's all a message. So we come into businesses and brands, and we craft the perfect message for them that's going to help resonate with their target audience. And then we turn around in 2020, now that it's 2020, social media is exploding over the past few years, in the past decade. So we turn around and we use social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, websites to be able to push that content to the marketplace in their target audience's face, so they can resonate with that brand, achieve specific goals, get them more customers, do hiring for them, really any problem that they deal with. Now, it's not just delivering a message as far as videography and photography, but we build logos as well. That real branding image. We can really create that feel and resonation in somebody's brain, that when they see a logo, they're going to think of your brand. They're going to think of your business. And there's many other things we do. We do websites, email marketing, content marketing, which is your videography, photography piece, graphic design, which is really telling a story through art, right? So there's many different things that we do. We also do consulting. I might be forgetting some things off my head here, but we do a lot, and it all revolves around us coming in, meeting a person, envisioning their dreams, stepping into their shoes, and seeing the angles we can help improve their business, all while sticking towards their goals.
So I want to sneak in a quick question, because I have a lot more I want to ask you about GoldRush itself.
Sure.
But really quick, for someone who might be a business owner closer to starting out, they might be wondering, what's my message? What exactly is my message? So how does someone maybe closer to the beginning figure out what their message is and craft that message?
Yeah, that's a good question. It all starts with it must start with your passion, I like to say. So obviously, if you're getting into business, I would advise anybody to not start a business unless you're passionate about it. Okay, because if you're going through a daily grind and you're working for a big goal, you have to have a strong reason why. Why the dance YMCA, but you have to have a strong reason why, because that's what's going to pull you and push you to be doing all the things that I'm about to say here. Okay, so let me get into it here. So first, you have to have a passion. Okay, once you figure out what your passion is, so let me run with a specific niche. Should we do that?
Go ahead.
For example, today we just got out of Mabel Danahays. We just got done with the video shoot there a few hours ago, actually. All women's clothing line. How do they craft their perfect message? Well, to me it's simple, but here you go. Let me lay it out for you. First and foremost, you have to figure out who's your target audience. That's the most important piece. What age are they? Where do they live? What demographics are they, essentially? If you're targeting, specific nationalities, and for what reason, and what different interests do they have? So online on social media right now, there's so many different powerful tools that we could use to target specific people that are interested in your product. So if I'm running with the same example, Mabel Danahays, all women's clothing, we're able to look online and see where are women shopping for clothes right now. Okay, and then we're able to pull their information, analyze their information, and from that we see all their demographics, their age, their locations where they live, what they're interested in, their social media footprint, their internet footprint. So we're able to see all their interests. So then we just match up their interests to our message, and then we craft the message based off their interests. So if you're interested in, let's say for example, at Mabel Danahays, I'm running with this example. Let's say we just got a nice batch of sweaters in, and we're able to go online, find an exact target audience of who's looking for sweaters, and they must be women. They must be between this specific age. Obviously, they're not going to be a young child or somebody that's not on social media. And then from that, we match it up, and then we craft the message with that sweater, and then send it exactly to that target audience. Now, crafting a message there's so many different ways you can do it, right? You can snap a picture, send it off. That's a message technically, right? But we do it. We hold the standard when we're creating our message. We work with phenomenal videographers. He's behind the scenes right now. He's a killer guy. He's awesome. He'll be on the show eventually. But we craft the most perfect message that we can, create for these businesses. So we like to try to interview the business owners to get all the value and the whole story behind the business and the brand. And we bring, people in, whether if they're real customers or models, we come in and we help them create that feeling of a brand as well, because when you're selling a product or service, it's not just a product or service. It's actually, along with it, a lifestyle, a way of life, an experience, right? So we try not to just craft a message around a product or service, but also around the way of life, the type of person you are. That's in that whoever we're targeting, if you know what I mean. But there are many different ways you can craft a message. Videography, photography are the main ways that we do. For our clients today, constantly getting your message out is super important. So that's why, on the monthly basis, we go into our clients and we capture photography and videography. So we're able to post almost every single day. And then we're able to put out an awesome video that's going to reach 10,000 people online. That's how you craft a message, really capturing content, but studying and analyzing your audience first before you craft that content, before you craft that message.
Now, a note that you started on for that was the passion that it really takes to start out a business, because in my experience of what I've seen too, it takes a little bit of passion to be able to jump over those hurdles. So Randy, what was your passion or inspiration that led you to start GoldRush?
Sure. So I actually started another business before GoldRush. It was actually an e-commerce business type shop, and essentially, I needed a way to make money, right? As we all do. And I was graduating high school, going through college. I was going to RIT at the time, and I needed a way to make money, and live, and not accrue more debt from my student loans. So I started a business and I kind of got into it, and I actually started really liking the stuff that I was doing. So I was really selling any type of product, from women's chokers to men's watches to, shower, shampoos and many different things. Anything you could imagine, I would sell it. Okay, iPhone cases, I sold a bunch of those. Anyways, through building that little business and that little brand, I went through a ton of trials and tribulations, a ton of downs where I didn't know how to create a logo. I didn't know how to build a website. I didn't know how to create one piece of content. I didn't know how to run any type of advertisements to get my product out there. So I really had to start from the bottom. And through that journey and through learning how to create a logo by connecting to my RIT friends and finding somebody that knew somebody that know how to do this and knew all this, finding all those people, learning from them, that really cultivated and crafted a passion in me. So then I separated from there. I stopped doing this business and I said, hey, I actually find a lot more joy and a lot more passion in helping people with the problems that I had in my business, like finding how to do a logo, how to do a website, how do you sell a product because you need to make money. So how do I get conversions on this? So with all those trials and tribulations, I figured it all out and said, hey, I want to help other people do the same thing. Because so many people in the world deal with this struggle. And a lot of these people have great minds and are great people, essentially. So let me see here. So maybe I didn't answer your question. Maybe I didn't answer. But passion comes from really diving deep into something and finding just some type of connection.
So now starting off too, and it's a very common thing we see, business owners, entrepreneurs, or CEOs that have already reached the top of the ladder, and just seeing them there, we can't see all of the struggles and, trials that took to reach that point. So what were some of your early experiences? You can mention good ones too, but what were your early experiences and maybe even some struggles early on?
Yeah. Early on, I can even take it back to, the very first business transaction, business deal that I had, Even that moment right there was something that sticks in my brain now because it was a learning experience. So, I was the first ever, salesperson in my business. When you start a business, you're the first person. You must wear a lot of hats, guys. So when you wear a lot of hats, you got to do a lot of things. So I was also a sales guy in my business, and I still am today. I like to do a lot of networking. However, one of the first experiences I remember is I was going into this restaurant in Medina, New York, and I was just really nervous, honestly. Didn't know what to expect. And when I was waiting, I walked in, met the owner, shook his hand. Now, previous to this, I called him, and he told me, hey, I don't do business over the phone. Stop into my place now. And I'm like, oh, geez, I don't know who I'm dealing with here. So this is my first time ever doing any type of business transaction. I created the contract myself. I did all of that, right? And then I go into the business, and I don't know what to expect. I don't know where the conversation will go. I don't know how I'm going to get a deal, really. And I didn't even have a contract or a price or any of that figured out. But when I left the meeting, I had a check in my hand, and I already knew what exactly value and services we're going to be delivering for them after I left the meeting. So that right there was a tipping point for me that says, hey, I can actually do this. I could show business owners that I can deliver them value, and in return, you get paid. So that was one experience that I had that really was a tipping point or a turning point for me. And I can go on to talk about a bad experience because I think everybody has bad experiences. Most people feel like when they start a business, mostly it's all bad when they start. I had so many different periods of drought and times where I just wasn't getting what I wanted or succeeding in business, and I never quit. And that's really what helped me even develop more passion into what I'm doing and more passion.
So can you just elaborate some more? How did you keep going through those times of drought?
How exactly did I keep going? Well, I had to dig deep into myself, right? That comes back to your reason, why do you do it? Why are you in business? Again, when you're in business, you're really dealing with a specific type of breed of person, right? There's those business owners out there that just want to do business and be cool, so they put entrepreneur in their title, right? Or you have the real business owners that are actually in this to win this, and they're gonna. Doesn't matter how long it takes, they're gonna grind the fight out. They're gonna do what the hell they have to do to become successful. So I had to dig deep into myself, and I remember this like it was yesterday. It was in the middle of winter. I had like no gas in my car. I just able to fill it up, driving home on an empty stomach. Right? That right there was a terrible feeling to me, but I didn't quit because I knew that in the future, I want to have an amazing family and a bond with my friends and family. And I know to enable to get that, I need to have some type of success and drive for myself. Because I come from a background where my family was all split up, at a young age. So I lived with multiple different families, multiple different houses. So to me, family is one of the biggest and most important things in life, and it should be. So that right there said, hey, I want to have a son. I want to have a son or a daughter in 5 or 10 years from now. You know what I mean? So, or maybe less. So I got to fight for them. I'm not fighting just for myself.
Do you think our society is glamorizing the entrepreneurial lifestyle too much nowadays, or do you think that the perception is straying from the reality? What are your thoughts?
Sure. I think yes, it's they are starting to glorify the entrepreneurship, but I think that's a good thing, right? We glorify sports athletes. We glorify, actors. Let's glorify some really awesome entrepreneurs like Gary Vee, Ty Lopez, Tom Bilyeu. You know what I mean? All these people, they need to be glorified too, but I say it with caution. And they will caution you as well. It takes it's the hardest work. It's some of the hardest work, and you will have blood, sweat, and tears from this, my friends. Blood, sweat, and tears all the way. But yeah, the media nowadays is glorifying it. So I see a lot of kids all across social media platforms that have that entrepreneur title in their name. Like I said, I actually have that title in my name on Instagram, but I live for it. That's what I actually do. I quit my job. I didn't have any secure income when I started my business. Not one piece of secure income. Not $1 was secure that I knew that was coming in when I started my business. And that's a risk a lot of people can't take in life. So that's why I say move with caution. You want to be an entrepreneur? No problem. You got to learn from somebody that really knows what they're doing. Learn on your own all the time and have a real passion to succeed and drive, okay? You could start a business and work a part-time job, or you can dive 100% deep in. That's what I did. I advise you to not dive 100% deep in unless you're ready to take on that challenge, unless you're really ready to take on that challenge, guys. So to answer your question, yeah, in 2020, I feel like the media is glorifying entrepreneurship, but I feel like that's a good thing because it will naturally draw some entrepreneurs up, which business can create a lot of money in the world for the regular person, which is good.
What do you think your first aha moment or your first turning point was? The first time when you really knew that you were definitely onto something, that GoldRush wasn't going anywhere?
To tell you the truth, I mean, and this may sound, arrogant or cocky, it was really when I started it. This was really when I started it because I seen, and this is, it's not arrogant because I looked at the statistics. It's the facts. The fastest growing market in like the whole world was social media. It's so much money was being spent on social media, and it was doubling, it was tripling, ad budget. And I seen that, hey, what does that mean? People need help promoting themselves. Okay? If you're not seen, if your audience doesn't know who you are, how will they buy from you? Why will they connect with you or whatever you're trying to achieve? If you're not known, you won't achieve your goal. So with that being said, and me watching, paying attention to the market and seeing there's a lot of money being spent in this area, hey, people need help in this area, okay? Because people give money when they get help in return, okay? So that means this area is really helpful for these businesses. I would like to get into it. And at the time, I was running my aisle, and I seen, I already figured out how to do all this stuff. I figured out how to run ads. I figured out how to promote myself, how to make a logo, how to get a website, how to do all this business stuff. I felt like I really got a Harvard business education by just years of hardcore training on this stuff.
what has it been like to witness the growth of GoldRush? Because we've grown tremendously since that point in time.
Oh yeah, it's been the joy of my life, really. When you can work so hard on something, and I'll explain to you how I feel, right? When I work super hard on something, in the beginning you don't know if it's gonna pay off. You don't know if it's gonna really work, so you feel like you're just, and eventually when you get that moment where it starts to pay off, the money starts to come in, people are happy, you start attracting more people into your business. That's like one of the best feelings that's what I want for my birthday. 2-3 years ago, before starting this business, I literally was saying to myself, it was like right around my birthday. I was like, well, next year at this time of my birthday, a good gift for me would be have my business be more successful. And that's what I say to myself every year now. Like, that's the best birthday gift. January 29th, on my birthday, analyze my business, see the growth. And from the first year to the second year, we did more than triple in numbers on the books. So that right there, it told me, hey, you just learned from your first year. We tripled in our second year. Let's try to do the same thing again, and let's keep that going. And that's the greatest feeling in the world for me. One of the greatest feelings, other than family, family and connection and happiness. But it feels great to be able to grow the business.
So I actually want to ask you too. So now that we're, the wheels are moving, I guess you could say, what are the plans for 2020 and going forward for GoldRush?
For sure. So 2020 is going to be a great year for us, honestly. First and foremost, this podcast, let me just talk about that. GoldRush, again, we're starting this out of the true kindness of our heart. We want to touch as many business owners and touch as many people as possible. So one of our plans in 2020 is to get as much content out as possible to reach our target audience. That's one of our plans in 2020. Another plan in 2020 is really get as many people as we can in the business, teach as many people that the stuff that we know, so then they can go out and help more business owners as well. So really, we're doing a lot of different marketing plans for the year with our different content marketing. When I say content marketing and when I say marketing, there's so much more involved in it. That's just very broad when I say that. So I mean, I could give you a whole, I could go on for a long time about our plans for 2020 and get super in depth and then give you a lecture about it. But to keep it simple, we just plan to really at least double the amount of content we create and push it out to the world.
So why is content so important?
Because if your customer does not know who you are, then you will not get a sale. For the person that's sitting on the couch right now in their house wanting to start their business, nobody knows you have a business, so they won't buy from you. For the person that's been in business for 100 years, I'll run with the same example. Mabel Danahays, they've been in business for over 100 years. Still, some people don't know who they are, right? So we got to pick up on those people who don't know who they are. So how do you find them? You have get in their face somehow, one way or another, right? If it's a cell phone, that's what majority of everything is nowadays, it's like this. We're right in the face, okay? We're getting in their face. Other than that, we're talking in person. We're going to networking events. We're communicating with these business owners. We're establishing friendship, because if you're not known, then you're not going to succeed. Grant Cardone says that obscurity is the biggest issue with any business or brand. And obscurity means the unknown, people not knowing you. So I run with that.
So a big part of what we actually are seeking to accomplish here on GoldRush is to give actual advice that can be implemented by a newer business owner or someone just looking to improve. So one of the things we were talking about before this sit down was building a strong presence online. And it goes in the vein of getting in your customer's face, like you were just mentioning. So one of the things that you mentioned to me before this was understanding marketing psychology. Can you explain the psychology a little bit to anyone listening?
Oh yeah, 100%. So psychology is huge because you need to really understand how the human brain works. if you're really marketing to anybody, if you want to be successful, there's levels to marketing, obviously. But believe that if you're going to get into marketing, you must understand the psychology behind marketing, why people actually make decisions, why people buy. There's all these commercials on TV that people see that are effective, and there's commercials on social media that are effective. There's commercials that are effective in many different places, but why are they actually effective? Why do they get people to make a switch in their brain to come into the store, to buy a product, to order online? How does that work, right? So my best advice is, and I'm not going to give a psychology lesson right now, but it's to understand the human decision making in the brain. Okay, for one example, this is probably the most known example, right? And we were talking about this the other day, is Budweiser commercials. So human beings, if you're around somebody, that has attractive traits in a specific sense, they are able to lend you their attractive traits in a way if you're close enough to them. So that's why marketers today use pretty woman in all their beer commercials, right? And they put a pretty woman next to a car. Actually, in the book that I'm reading right now, really it's all about psychology. They state specifically, they did the study that a car next to a pretty woman, more men buy that car than just a picture of the pretty car. And understanding stuff like that, understanding marketing and strategies to use to actually get people in through your doors. That's what I really mean by psychology and understanding the brain. People don't buy based off of logic. People buy based off of emotion, So knowing that psychology is going to help you in really just completing and crafting your message. You have to build up people's emotions. You have to make them feel like they're in that car, right? Like they're drinking that beer. What comes along with it? That's human psychology. So if you don't understand human psychology and you're in marketing, you're going to struggle. You're not going to know how to bring somebody. You're not going to know how to attract somebody.
Now, once you have everything with your brand and with your message fully fleshed out, and maybe you even have materials created already, how do we most effectively deliver that message to our target market?
Yeah. Well, I say the best way to do it is through social media, because in today's world, we have all these tools that are able to let us target the exact person you're looking for. If you want to sell a house, you can target somebody that's a potential home buyer, literally, because they just moved. So you can target that. If you want to sell, let's say, like hot dogs, really simple. We're targeting people that have maybe liked hot dog pages, been to Ted's Hot Dogs around here, been to different hot dogs, Abbott's Texas hot dogs. We're able to target those. So the best way to reach your target audience is first know who your audience is, and then find them on a platform. I lean towards social media, but you can find them on TV. You can find them on the radio. It's a little bit harder because you put it on a specific channel, right? And you may, a kid may, or an older person that doesn't care about your product or service may see it. So that's why I say social media. You can skip all the nonsense, go directly to your potential customer, and then your product or service is there.
So in the next 10 years or the next 20, 30 years, how do you see social media continuing to revolutionize how we deliver our message? Because, for example, I see TikTok is a rising platform, and I've gotten on it myself, and I think the thing that's very different about TikTok is it really is so personal, actually. It seems really like the people who do best on TikTok aren't so much focused on any side goals, selling a product, doing this, doing that. They genuinely want to interact with people. And so it comes from that passion too. So how do you see social media changing the face of marketing going into the future?
Oh yeah. Well, social media is changing the face of marketing as we speak. It's done 10 years ago, and it's going to continue doing it right now. So, I see the future really being all around social media. Excuse me. I'm not going to say that, there's not going to be anybody advertising on TV or anybody advertising on radio, but if you take a look at the market, right? they say younger people are on social media, right? Younger people are on TikTok, but what's going to happen when those younger people come of age? They get older, right? What are they going to do? They're going to most likely be on social media like they've always been their whole entire lives. So next 10 years, I think the traffic on social media is going to double. Way more, maybe more than that, so it's just insane. There's gonna be a lot more people on social media. There's gonna be a lot more advertising money going into social media. And I mean, it's just from 2019 to 2020 is literally, or I'm sorry, 2018 to 2019, advertising budget on social media has literally doubled. That's a statistic you can look up. And so it's just, there's gonna be so much more money and there's so much more people on social media, so much more of a crowded message. So you're gonna have to learn how to cultivate and stand out from the rest. But social media is really it's taking over, and it's not going to be gone anytime soon. It's going to keep enhancing, keep giving business owners and people like myself ways to connect with the consumer and bring them into your business and start a relationship. It's the easiest way to get a sale. Okay, when somebody's watching a TV commercial, okay, they may put a number at the bottom. You still got to go pick up your phone. Maybe walk a few steps, pick up your phone and dial the number, right? Whatever. Or you got your phone in your pocket. You still got to pull it out and unlock your phone or something. There's still work involved. Now on social media, if you're already scrolling on your phone, you can just click a button, a simple call to action that brings you to my website, that has you sign up for something that you are interested in. So social media is really just the best and seamless way to do advertising and marketing and get your customers in the door right now. Okay, so I continue to see that trend just taking over more and more every day. And we're starting to see other products get involved in social media, like the TV, right? The Samsung TV that's now going to rotate to play TikTok videos, right? So this is something that we're seeing even other markets responding to how big social media is right now. So I advise if you're not on social media as a business owner, you must get on social media, okay? I'm not going to use Toys R Us for an example, but that was one of the big businesses, big brands that wasn't taking advantage of social media at the time. And I learned this from Gary Vee, from watching his content. And it blew my mind, And then they went out of business. Now they may be coming back. Let's see. They learned from their mistakes, hopefully. And they're going to be on social media a lot more now.
So we've had traditional ways to market in the past before social media took off. Things like radio, television, mailers, putting in different placements. And now we have social media. So let me ask you, do you think social media has eclipsed those traditional forms of marketing yet?
I would say, well, to tell you the truth, I don't know the hard numbers on that. I don't know the exact statistics, and I wish I did. Now I want to look that up right now. I want to see the statistics, how much ad money is being spent on TV, how much is being spent. In my market, I'm not on TV or the radio, so we're not looking at that ad budget. But I'd say yes. I'd say yes, because every business can get on social media for free. Not every business can get on TV, especially for free. Not every business can get on the radio, especially for free. Not every business can get a billboard, especially for free. Right now, any business, we're lucky, maybe in 10 years it's going to be a base charge, but so Facebook's free, go sign up. Google's free, get on it. Okay, YouTube's free, get on it. Snapchat's free, TikTok's free, it's all free right now. Get on it. So it's the easiest platforms to take advantage of. And social media platforms are all based around community and sharing. It's all about the consumer, you. Right? So your social media timeline, your feed is all about what you like, right? They want to make you happy. So they're going to show you what makes you happy, okay? So if you have a product or service that makes somebody happy, your social media account naturally wants to show it to a consumer for you, okay? So you get free organic traffic. I don't see free organic traffic coming from the TV. I don't see free organic traffic coming from a billboard ad, because that's not free. You know what I mean? So yes, social media, I believe, is taking over all these other marketing techniques, tactics, printouts, flyers, TVs, billboards, all of that.
I think it's somewhat fair to say that you're a social media expert. Frankly, fair disclosure, you're not like a television or radio expert, but as a person who is an expert in social media, what are some of the greatest advantages that social media and advertising on social media have over those traditional forms?
Well, one that I was talking about, I ran with before, is that time is such a huge factor. Okay, I believe the law. It's called the law of diminishing intent, and I learned this from Jim Rohn, who's a personal development speaker. It's called the law of diminishing intent. Every second and every minute that goes by when you're not doing something, you're most there's a greater chance you're not going to complete it. Right? So if I want to pick up my phone and make a call right now to a business owner, every second I let go by, there's a chance that I won't do that. Okay, so that's the law of diminishing intent. Social media takes a huge advantage of having a call to action button, like I said. So they don't have to wait to go to our website or sign up or do anything or call or message or do any of that. They can click that button right then and there. You can't do that on the radio, especially if you're driving. Especially if you're trying to pick up your phone. That's illegal, I think. So, that's one. Okay, number two, you can control the hell out of your message. Okay? I get so passionate about this. I'm sorry. But okay. You can control the hell out of your message, okay? So, TV ads, right? If I was trying to work with Celino and Barnes, okay, maybe about a few years ago. Okay? I dropped their name. No problem. Everybody knows them.
It's okay.
And I go on their social media, and they have all these videos, but they're all like 15 seconds or 30 seconds. I'm like, well, that's weird. Why is that? Well, because that's the TV. That's TV, right? So how are you going to get all your value of your business out in 15 seconds? It's difficult. 30 seconds, still difficult. So social media allows for you to control your time frames as well, really well, and get your message out, okay? So yeah, you can come up with short clips. You can do 5-second clips, 1-second clip, and that doesn't really make sense, but you can also do hour-long podcasts where people consume the heck out of your content, and you tell a whole story that you would never be able to get out on TV or the radio or on newspaper. You know what I mean? So those are two huge advantages right there. Number 3, consistency is major key in everything. So let me ask you a question. Have you seen an ad once before?
Well, naturally, of course, there's ads everywhere.
Perfect. So you've seen an ad once. Have you ever seen an ad 10 times before?
Definitely have.
Okay,
it's usually when you do that on online shopping, right?
Perfect. So which one resonates with you more? The ad you've seen once or maybe 10 times?
Well, I think honestly, even though I feel like we have a natural defense mechanism where we don't trust this, it's researching what I'm doing in the computer scary, but truthfully, when I keep seeing a product, it does sometimes pick some curiosity, where if I was already a little bit interested and I keep seeing it, chances are at least one time I'll have the spare time to click on it and actually check it out when I have time.
Exactly. And I ask that question to almost every business owner that I come in contact with before we start to work. I ask them that question, and they say the exact same thing, right? So, okay, if I seen this person for the 10th time, I'm checking them out now because I'm curious. What the heck? That's another huge advantage, is we can consistently get your message out there, and for free too, okay? You don't have to just run ads. Social media also is free. So you can post 3 to 5 times per week, once a day, several times a day, get that to your target audience, and also run an ad with new, fresh content. So another huge thing is people are on social media. It's literally like a virtual world, okay? And they're connecting all the time. So if you can just connect with your consumer on social media, then you're going to succeed. Those are my three. I can keep going, but those are my 3. I don't want to keep going. So
now another very important advantage that social media has is actually, it's really the last point that you mentioned also in terms of how businesses can work on their marketing, and that's feedback. So explain the importance of feedback and how we should use feedback to grow.
Feedback is the most important, I'd say most important piece, really, because when you're making a message, obviously, if you create an ad that's unsuccessful, you'll see that by the feedback. If you have zero feedback from it, go seek feedback, obviously, from other people. But if you get zero feedback and zero people engaging with your advertisement and your message, that means you've done something probably wrong, or probably not the best if you can do to your ability, or you need just some help. You need a different strategy or technique to use. So listening to feedback is huge. And I keep saying Gary Vee because Gary Vee is a big idol to me as well. But he says that as well. Feedback. You need to always analyze your feedback from your customers. And I say it because, I mean, first and foremost, in anything, in any transaction with anybody, I always seek feedback because it's going to help me become better than who I currently am or was in the past. So if I go to you on a business deal, and let's make it simple for the viewers out there, okay? I hire people all the time. We bring in people to our business all the time. And sometimes they may show up on day one not dressed as fancy as I am. And that's fine, right?
Well, that's a tough standard.
Sure. Good joke there. But, you know, they may come in the next day now dressed up better, right? And they just learned from that feedback that they got from our office, right? So, they come into our office. Oh, I got some feedback today. And feedback could be just you analyzing, right? Or it could be somebody giving you actual feedback and saying, hey, you need to change those shoes, man. Those are bad. You know what I mean? So you got to take that feedback and take it as constructive criticism, okay? When you're in your business at all times, man, never be hurt, never have hurt feelings from somebody telling you, hey, you can improve your business in this way. You can improve. In fact, you need to seek that, okay? I sometimes, it's actually a funny joke, my grandma, I sometimes show my grandma new websites that I've built with my business or new social media campaigns, new messages, because she's not used to social media. She's not used to digital media. So if I let her surf through a new website and she'll pull all these different things. Oh, this is hard to find. This is easy to navigate. I like this. I like that. I don't like this. I take that feedback, fix it up before I send it to my client, and then we give it to our client, and then they love it. You know, so responding to feedback and getting feedback is one of the most important pieces to creating any piece of content, especially if you're creating more than one piece of content, right? You're not going to just shoot one video and then use that for the rest of the year, are you? No. Oh, well, you can, right? But possibly. Right, so there's levels, right? But when you shoot that video, you want to have new content, fresh content, mostly every month, okay? Several times a month, too, ideally. However, next time you go to create that first piece of content, you want to get better and better. We were just talking about this the other day. Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan podcast, his very first podcast, if you look it up right now, you can pause this video, guys, look it up. One of the comments had me dying laughing. It said, this is like caveman discovering fire. Okay? Now, I'm sure he listened to a whole ton of feedback all the way at I don't know what episode he's at now, but he took in a lot of feedback. Oh, yeah. And now look where he's at.
Yeah, it helps you refine what you're doing a lot, I've found. So another very important part of feedback I've found is A/B testing. Can you explain the concept of A/B testing for those out there that might not be familiar with it?
Yes. A/B testing is essentially plays a part right with feedback. So if you want to really get some good feedback without people going to you and telling you, you can do what's called A and B testing. So this is like putting out, so let me talk about A and B testing for content, okay? Because we do this a lot, okay? So for example, putting out one video with 5 different headers, 5 different taglines that are all different, that you feel like are going to be successful. Let's say, okay, for this video I just shot, let me come up with 5 different titles for that video that are all enticing to people. And then I push those out, and out of those 5, which one has the best results, or which top 2 or which top 3 have the best results. Then I stick with, then I'll cut off the last 2 that were not having results for me, run with the 3, run those a little bit longer, seeing if anyone really outperforms the other one. And if there is, sometimes there's not. But I can run with all 3 of those, get a lot of, and have success, or I can run with the one that really has the most success and like, boom, that title is the title I should have started off with. But we don't know that because we can't read the future, okay? So you do what's called A and B testing to read the future for you, essentially. So the concept of A and B testing is trying different angles when you're pushing out your message, okay? Different ways to attract people's attention through psychology. So for example, when you were doing your hiring piece here at GoldLure, when we put out hiring ads, we put out different job titles to see which ones will perform the best. And that's the concept of A and B testing. You want the best results. What's going to give me the best results? So let me try all these different options without stretching myself too far, to see which one is the best. Thank you guys for watching. If you could share, comment, like, please do. Please continue to watch our content. We plan to come out with a whole bunch of content this year in 2020. Next episode we have for GoldRush, we're going to actually switch it up. We're going to have some guests on. We're going to feature a ton of different businesses in the Buffalo area, some entrepreneurs, athletes, really all the different people. We're going to bring them in here, talk about their trials and tribulations, the success they've had, and to see if we can pull that value, deliver it to you guys. Okay, so be on the lookout for our next piece of content. But for the viewers that watched, thank you so much, and we look forward to the next episode on GoldRush. Thank you very much, guys. This is your host, Randy Golda. See you next time.